everyone. Sorry that I look like a mess right now. By the way, I heard once that saying sorry for looking like a mess or sorry for doing this or sorry for doing that or whatever will distract from a YouTube video, but I think that if you look like a mess or if you're doing something like I'm about to get, for example, here, a tissue, and I need to apologize for doing that, but like, if you're doing something, you might as well apologize, because, you know, especially if you're doing something like this. I'll be right back, hang on. So, you can skip over the part where I'm just throwing the tissue away, and hang on. There's itching. But anyway, I'll be right back. So anyway, though, I think that when someone is doing something and they need to say, hey, I'm sorry or whatever, and people say it just distracts from your video, like, for example, right now I'm getting hand sanitizer, because I don't want to gross people out, obviously. Like, hey, you should just learn to wash your hands, and the flu's been really bad. And I don't know what germs or bacteria or viruses I'm carrying, so the point is, when you're doing something that would distract people, saying sorry or saying, hey, I'm doing this or whatever, there's this courtesy in apologizing to people when you're just doing some of the stuff that I did, for example. And let's see, hang on. You like that one? In all seriousness, though, and hey, I finally caught a burp on camera, and that was a natural burp, by the way. And you can hear my sister, though, she does those fake burps all the time. And that's a whole nother discussion, but it actually was not about, or that's not about what this video was about. By the way, speaking of the tissue box, I might as well have held it up, because there we go, you can see it. Go Ravens, so you can guess who I'm voting for in the Super Bowl. And I think I've finally forgiven Ray Lewis for what he did back in the last Super Bowl. And, you know, maybe that's why we didn't win all the football games all those years ago, because, you know, what Ray Lewis did. But maybe that was just my, I don't know what kind of thinking that was. I mean, I can guess, but anyway. So at least we finally made it to the Super Bowl, regardless of whatever I thought or what anyone else thought. Maybe if that had to do with the Ray Lewis incident or not back in the 2000 Super Bowl, but so I've been very busy with just stuff at UMBC. You know, boring as usual. This year I've been particularly busy. Finally got ADD minutes. I could show you the whole Megillah, and people are going to say, oh, what are you doing this bad? You're just, like, looking to get attention and all that, and I'm like, no. I mean, first of all, I believe in transparency. In this case, quite literally, because this is kind of transparent. So you can see that, yeah, I wasn't kidding about having OCD and ADD and anxiety and depression and all that, so. And I know that a lot of people don't like me, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that, hey, you can't deal with someone who doesn't fit with your mold for good or bad. And while I'm on that subject, if you don't like that I'm not a perfect person, if you don't like that I fit your mold, if you don't like whatever it is you don't like about me, because I noticed that I definitely have some haters on YouTube, and I've also been asked, oh, do you have stuff like Down syndrome and all that, and, you know, people are just been really hateful sometimes, or people have just disliked my videos without leaving feedback and telling me what they hate about me or what they hate about a video or whatever. I mean, if you really hate me that badly, and I know that some of my haters are subscribed to my YouTube channel, but I mean, if you really hate me that badly, give me a favor and unsubscribe. Because for a lack of a better term, and I don't want to sound as mean as some of you are, but give me a favor and unsubscribe from my YouTube channel, because if you hate me that much, and if you don't like whatever it is that you don't like about me, while I'm certainly not perfect, and while I certainly have areas in which I could improve, I don't have time for you if you're going to hate me. Especially if you don't have a good reason to hate me. And I'm trying. I'm, getting the help, for example, for my OCD and ADD and everything else. And I'm getting the psychotherapy, and I'm dealing with the issues that I've talked about before. And I try not to hide things, but I could go on and on and on, but you get the hint. As I said, though, if I don't fit your perfect little mold, or if you're going to hate me for no good reason or whatever else it is, just do me a favor. Don't watch my videos. Don't subscribe to my channel. Don't do whatever else you do. And, the good thing is I haven't had to deal with a lot of haters lately, thank goodness. There were a couple of incidents within the past month or so where I've had to deal with some people. But I'm just learning that, if you hate me that much, and if I'm not going to like you that much, and if you can stay away from me and I can stay away from you, and whatever else needs to be done, then everything can be all good. And let's see, so I talked about, I could go on and on and on, but I've been meaning to do a video on, hey, if you don't like me, just unsubscribe or just whatever. So I got that point out of the way. So next point, as I said, I've been very busy and just focusing on various pursuits. For example, let's see, I'm actually going to calculate them real quick while I'm here. So you don't have to see what I'm calculating, by the way, and I apologize that my glasses are a mess, but I've been really focusing, for example, on the genealogy aspect of things, and so I've been busy with that, and I still have not found a satisfactory answer to the issue with Pop McCoy, whoever he really was. Again, we don't know who he was, and it's getting really distressing, really disturbing. We did find out that Mom is of Jewish descent. She's of Jewish descent, at least on the Punt side, because my mom's Jewish, because her great-great-grandma was a Seidenberg, and then the Seidenberg matriarch married a Mueller patriarch, and at some point they converted to Protestantism because they had their daughter baptized. And actually, while I'm talking about this, let me go real quick so you can see what it is, because I can't always just memorize it in front of me, and it's not like, hey, just because I know a lot about the family history, because I'm mostly focused on Dad's side. I still am very focused on Dad's side, because Mom's side, some aspects of Mom's side are hard to get answers on, but Dad's side in particular is really hard to get answers on. And I discussed that, and so let's see. And it also, because it could be that Mom is more of Jewish descent, or even more Jewish than we initially thought. That's why I'm trying to search into it. So just going back on the Punt side, you have great-great-granddad Punt. But let's go back, and so we have great-great-granddad Punt, then we have Wilhelm Punt, or William Punt, and then we have his mom, Betha Mueller, or I guess her original name was Betha Mueller, and Betha Mueller was, as far as I know, fully Jewish. She married, her parents were the Seidenberg and the Mueller couple, the ones who got her baptized. So if we look back into the Seidenbergs for a minute, let's see. Okay, so we look at the Seidenbergs. Her parents were Johann Seidenberg and Charlotte Dorothea Seidenberg. We don't have a maiden name for her, but we do know that after Charlotte Dorothea died, Margaret Seidenberg's sister, Margaret Seidenberg's sister named one of her daughters directly after her mother, and so that was obviously an Ashkenazi Jewish custom that when a relative dies, you name the person after the relative. And so that's how I was able to figure out that, yes, our Seidenbergs are Jewish. Okay, so you go back to Margaretha Seidenberg, who was this is a good one. Oh, my 5th great-grandmother. It says it right there because I asked Ancestry to show the relationship to me. So, okay, my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, or you could technically say my, well, okay, that's going to be a long way to say it, but, so my wait, let me get this together. My 5 times great-grandmother, okay, so, and, okay, Mueller, then we assume Betha Mueller, okay, so they had her baptized as Protestant for whatever reason, and if you'll know too, because she was born on July 19th, 1806, and I mean, you do want to be careful with Wikipedia, but around this time, someone else was being baptized into Protestantism, and you know what? This is just kind of coming off of my head, but let's see. Felix Mendelssohn, he was born in 1809, and he was baptized into a Lutheran Christian family when he was 11 years old, I think it was, and then he also had at the time Karl Marx, who eventually became Lutheran, and I talk about a little about this in my blog. Okay, Marx was born in 1818, so in Germany there was obviously a lot of anti-Semitism at the time. A lot of Jews were becoming Anusim, and okay, so that happened to be the case with my Mueller great 5 times grandma, as you can, or actually she's my great 5 times grandmother, and then her daughter, who happens to be my great 4 times grandmother, and then Betha Mueller married Christoph Punt, and then you had William Punt. Okay, so he's matrilineally Jewish, aka half Jewish, and we don't know about the Lairs, because he married Dora Lair Punt, so we don't exactly know about the Lairs, but if she was Jewish, then that could change the whole dynamic completely as to how. And again, I talk about this in my blog too, like, how Jewish are you in order to be considered Jewish? And if you follow the scriptures, it's 1/16 Jewish, because to make a long story short, and I discuss this in my blog entry more, I'll link you to that. So obviously I've been doing a lot of thinking about this as I've struggled with my own, for lack of a better term, Jewish identity and tried to put it all together. Okay, so William Punt, let's go back to him for a minute. That'll be a part of this is my ADD too, now remembering everything I focus on. Okay, so William Punt is matrilineally Jewish. This would make George August Punt, who was my great-great-granddad. Let me double check that. So Ancestry is calculating the relationship. Yep, he was my great-great-granddad. Okay, so we go down to my great-granddad. Okay, so if George August Punt is, for lack of a better term, a quarter Jewish or patrilineally Jewish, then we go down to great-granddad Punt, who was an 8th Jewish or patrilineally Jewish, so that would make my mom the 16th Jewish or Jewish, and I don't know about mom, it would still depend on whether Papa McCoy was, for example, Sephardic Jewish or not, and then maybe mom would be, let's see, if Papa McCoy were Jewish. See, I'm trying to think about all this because, like I said, it's important to know in the scriptures what it says too, and like, am I more Jewish than I initially thought? Because remember, again, as I said, every day I struggle with my Jewish identity, and that's because, hey, I was raised not knowing that I'm Jewish. It doesn't mean that I give up my belief in Jesus, by the way, and it's because, as someone said, I hate when a lot of people find out that they're Jewish, and then they just automatically assume that that means that they should give up a belief in Jesus. As someone else said, being Jewish and believing in Jesus ought to make your heritage richer. And so that's, something that I'm struggling with too, and especially because you know, I just found out that I'm Jewish and suddenly I'm being rejected by a lot of people because, hey, I do believe in Jesus, and I got grapple with all that too, and so I'm kind of coming from, if you will, like an insider slash outsider slash insider perspective, and so, you know, I'm still dealing with, I guess it's just, I don't know, but I mean, it's very interesting. You think on these things a lot if you're like me, and just, yeah, and I'm also thinking about, like, how does that fit into where I'm going from here at this point, and, you know, once I finish college, and someone said, hey, hey, you could run for president someday, or you could work for Fox News, or you could do this and this, well, I can certainly tell that I'm not going to be running for president, because Hillary Clinton is probably going to be the first woman president anyway, so you can forget me making history in that domain. And I assure you that most people are not going to want a Messianic Jewish president in any circumstance. And, you know, God forbid if I ever did run for president, I'm sure I would be one of the most highly persecuted people ever. Anyway, yeah, I probably kvetched a little bit for going on a bit of a rant, but you get the point of some of the things I've been thinking about, where I've been lately, da-da-da-da-da. And anyway, there you go. And like I said, I'll link you to the blog entry where I was thinking about some of this, because, like, it's something that also came up, because, like, I was, like, someone had searched on my blog, Geraldo is a practicing Catholic or whatever, and I'm like, okay, no, he isn't. And then, you know, when I got into how I am more of a claim on Catholicism than him, and then I explained, like, hey, I'm descended from a new team who were Catholics and this and this and this, it also made me think about, again, a lot of my Jewish identity and this and everything else. And anyway, that shows you where I've been in terms of the genealogy research and some of the stuff that I, for lack of a better term, grapple with every day. And anyway, as I said, I was kvetching, so there you go. And I was going to give you an update, like, on what I've been doing in school and stuff, too, but I suppose that would have been kind of boring, so you get this kind of, for lack of a better term, kvetchy, whatever it is, and, well, you know, there you go, and now you know more about me. And like I said, if you don't like this video, as well as if you don't like anything else that I do or say or whatever, just unsubscribe now. And if you're going to dislike this video, at least leave feedback. If you're going to tell me, oh, you're an idiot, or oh, you're a bitch, or oh, you're this and this and this, at least leave those comments so that I can respond to them and say, hey, what didn't you like about this video? What part didn't you like about what I was saying? Da 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 da. Anyway, there you go. And that was my, how long was that? Holy shit, that was almost 20 minutes. And, well, there you go.